Welcome back to Starfish Coaching. I'm Eric Lee. Today, for my Founder Success Interview Series, I have the honor of interviewing George Verdolaga. He's the founder and principal designer of Flowform Design. But more than an interior designer, he's also a book writer and a coach that can coach you on writing a book, also a keynote speaker. So I'm excited to dive in and find out all about George. Now, here's George. Thank you, George. Now, I'm going to try to pronounce your last name, Verdolaga.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes?
Verdolaga. Phonetic.
Excellent. There you go.
It's not French or anything.
Yeah, I've known George for a few years, but actually I've never had to call you by your last name.
Just thank God. If we were in high school, we might have called each other our last names.
Yeah, there you go. So yes, thank you, George, for coming on to my podcast. George is with Flowform Design. He's an interior designer, principal of that firm. He's also many other things, kind of like me, I guess. He's an accomplished author. He's written quite a few books. He'll coach you on how to write a book if you're ever interested in that. I know you've been on the TED Talk, you do Toastmasters, you're also a keynote speaker. So there's a lot to you there. Maybe you can give us a brief intro.
Yes. As Eric said, I'm a man of many interests and talents. Writing is one of them, speaking. But design is kind of where I feel most at home. It's kind of one of those things where I'm very comfortable and I feel happiest. But yes, I also speak in front of people and teach them how to write books. So that's me. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, it's one of the questions I will ask you. Actually, I'll ask you right now is what tip or how do you keep your multiple interests and how do you manage them all? Because I've talked to a lot of designers too that have lots of other interests and they want to go in all different directions. Like you're quite target and you're quite focused, but maybe if there's a tip there that you can give to those people that have lots of thoughts.
Okay, so if you are thinking of having a lot of interests, first piece of advice is don't have children because it is impossible to lead the life I lead if you have kids. But then again, people like Eric might disagree. So if you do want to round out your life and populate the world, I mean, go ahead because we do need taxpayers. And you can't have taxpayers if you don't have a base of kids to, make the whole world go around. But seriously, though, really it's a game of compartmentalizing. I write in the mornings, 5:30 or 5 o'clock to about 6 or 7. An hour if I'm lazy, 2 hours if I'm feeling energetic. That's where my writing happens. I don't advise people to do it at night. And then in the middle, that's when you do your design, your client, your business development and all that. And if you can save time and money on like being in a car, working at home has been amazing for I think a lot of us. It's made us more efficient, think about our time, how to use it more. And of course, like Eric, you should have a team of good people around you because trying to do it on your own is very challenging. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I'd give to people.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I've actually heard that from other people is that compartmentalizing. Yeah. It really helps. So for you, do you find that in the morning your brain's just more fresh? Is that why you choose to do that in the morning? Yeah. And
that's first and foremost. And if you try and write at night, that nighttime writing always shifts because something spills over and the writing goes out the window. It's like, oh, I had to skip it because of. But in the morning, you have zero excuses. That's the first thing you do.
Right. Yeah. I always believe in aligning with your passion and being living in that, and you've done that for sure. So thank you for that tip.
Yeah, if I died today, I could say, wow, I did so many things. I look at my resume. I was able to do what a lot of, for example, maybe wealthier, more successful people. Not everyone has been able to write a book, done a TED Talk, and it's just one of those things I keep kind of branching out because if I had 6 different lives, I'd do them all differently. So I'm trying to do them all in this one because I know I don't have 5 others. So
yes. Okay, so for our kind of main topic here, since this is the Designers Business Community podcast, I'd love to dive into the business side of your interior design. First off, why did you even start off your design firm? Like, did it just you knew that's the thing you want to do, or you worked for someone? Tell me about the start of your Flowform.
You know what? When I was a kid, I always thought I would be the big wheel of someone else's company. The president of a firm someone started. Like what's happened to me is like one of those, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans kind of thing. Everything kind of happened organically. Like
Right.
I never knew I'd be the head of my own design firm. In fact, I didn't even know that this is what I wanted to do. I was so lost as a young teenager. My dad was forcing me, all of his kids to become accountants, including me. He had an accounting practice. He wanted to hand that off. I've got a dad and a wife who are accountants. My wife was like,
Right.
imagine yourself as an accountant. I don't see you as an
No.
accountant.
I don't either.
So, yeah, I kind of stumbled into this profession. And then when I got into it, people were like, of course, he said, you love to dress up, you love to draw, you were very creative as a child. This makes sense. But that never happened to me neatly. I think a lot of people find their way into interior design kind of through law, through medicine. They end up here.
Yeah. Especially if you have Asian parents, right?
Yeah, it's like you have to be a lawyer. You have to
Yes.
be a doctor. Yeah. But I mean, you can make money whatever you're doing as long as you're good at it and you enjoy it, I think.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So did you?
So this
did
was
you,
an accident.
Oh, okay. Did you work for a firm first to pick up experience, or you dove right into your own business?
Yeah. No. I worked out of design school. I worked for a product design and interior design company in Milan. That was my first job as a designer.
Okay.
I went to New York, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, you can work with us. It's the center of the design universe." But then my personal life intervened. I married my long-suffering girlfriend, and she didn't want to live in New York. So I said, "Well, why don't we try Vancouver?" So I worked for 2 different firms, came here, and then I worked for several design firms here before I went out on my own. Yeah.
Got it. So what was the impetus for you starting then? Like, why did you even start your own firm?
I couldn't hold on to a job.
Okay.
I didn't get laid off because of the economy, or they found me too. There's something about me. And I was like, you know what? I think the universe is trying to tell me something. Instead of working again for another 5 or 10 years, I'll just do my own thing. So that's what I did. And
Right.
I built this design business from scratch, and it was very hard to do.
Yeah.
Especially I didn't have the natural network. I wasn't born in Canada.
Right.
So
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
good.
have the little friends from school. Yeah.
So I guess you weren't trained in business. How did you learn the business side of it when you did your own firm?
Well, here's the thing. I discovered design in my late 20s. I already was running a business. I had a school
Okay.
business, nothing to do with design.
Okay.
So I had the benefit of that. In fact, when I moved here, people were like, oh, you should start the same thing you were doing back in Asia, which was a school. And it's like, I think I'm done with that idea. I mean, my wife and I still volunteer in church. That's where we spend our time with kids. So see, I don't have kids, but I look after other people's kids. Then I return them after an hour. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
You guys have them.
It's a lease
So
program.
that's how I have my
right?
fun. Yeah. So I still have my kind of hand in that. It's not money making. We do it out of pure love for the community. But the rest of the week, yeah, I'm a designer. That's what I do. That's what I love doing.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, you ran your own business, you know what it is, and you applied it to your own. What would you say were some of the biggest lessons that you learned starting out on your own design firm?
Being a founder is different from running somebody else's pre-established business, because the business where I learned business, the school, someone already started it.
Right.
She wanted to step back, sell it. I bought it. It already had people. It had clients already. That's way easier. All I had to do were a little bit marketing tweaks and stuff. Because
Right.
I'm able to make it earn 4 times the amount it was making. It was easy.
Yeah.
But starting your own, oh wow. You have to overcome so many you have to be someone else that you were not before.
Right.
You have to stop procrastinating, which I used to do. You have to be a little bit more disciplined.
Right.
You have to be shameless. Oh my God. I had so many hang-ups before that, but when you put yourself out there, it's different. It's you are the face of the brand, and I wasn't comfortable about that at the beginning. I was always used to working in the background, but now
right.
I was the face of the brand. I'm like, oh shoot. So many things you have to keep like opening up your mind.
Yes.
That you have to be ready to receive. Otherwise, you can't be that person who runs the multi-million-dollar business, because from an employee to a business owner, that's a big jump, right? So from business, I went back to being employed.
Right.
I went to that world and then back to being in business. And in a different environment, different community, it's not the same as where I was originally, right? Different market, different mindset. So you have to reinvent yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to join, I think, you have to get a coach like you, I think, to kind of take out all those obstacles, those blind spots. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing wrong. And I think, I made so many mistakes.
Yeah, you get that kind of extra peripheral feedback, right, from a third
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
And
true.
of course, some of the local coaches, they know the market more than you. And here you are coming in fresh, you have all that creative energy. But you have to translate it into how does that turn into sales?
Right.
Because you have these very good designers who can't sell for shit. Like, you know how the old thinking in architecture, oh, I have my sign, they will come.
Right.
Sorry, that's not how it works. Just because
yeah.
you're Picasso doesn't mean they're just going to come beating down your door. They don't know about you.
Yeah. There's a whole sales and marketing side to business, which design school didn't teach you.
No. I mean, you might be good as a designer creatively, but you might suck as a business person, right?
Right.
Or a business owner or business manager.
Yeah,
no,
for sure.
Leader.
And
yeah, a lot of creatives suck at leadership. They're either tyrants or they're clueless, right?
Same for me. Like when I got out of design school, I knew how to design. For the first few years, I was still learning and perfecting my skills. But the majority of my business building life is learning how to be a leader, learning about business, learning sales, learning marketing. All of that. Yeah. So
and who teaches you that in design school? You might get an introductory little 30-minute, 1 hour, but then that's it. Then you're on your own. You learn by trial and error. But you don't have to learn by trial and error. Just get someone like Eric Lee here.
Great. Well, thanks for that plug. But yes, it's true. I've talked to a lot of designers that said, and myself, I wish I had a mentor or a coach when I was starting out because it would have shortcut my path so much.
Yeah. Actually, your biggest obstacle is yourself.
Yes.
So many preconceptions, so many hang-ups. Oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that.
Imposter syndrome.
Up here, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do I deserve that success? Oh, my God.
Okay. So now...
Like, look at Eric here. Successful at 49. He only looks 29. He really should give me plastic surgery.
We talked about my age, and I'm coming down there, and that's why I'm
amazing,
here.
Man.
Yeah, because in this next chapter of my life, I really questioned, like, what am I about? And the answer was, I want to give back. It's about mentoring.
That's what the first thing that came into my head. Yeah, it looks like you're giving back now.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I've been there struggling as a young designer, and now I want to help the next wave of designers. Yeah. So
good for you. Good for the community.
If you had a time machine to go back in time, what would you do differently in your business with the knowledge that you have?
What? I would have. Oh, okay. Well, creatively, I would have done architecture. I would have done the double thing. I would have liked to do that. Design exterior and interior.
Okay.
I would have loved to be a double threat. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, now it's too late. I'm too much into design. I love it. But I just wish I could also design the house. Business-wise, I would have gotten a particular kind of coach. I got a sales coach, but maybe I should have either continued with him. I quit after 2 years. I mean, for various reasons. I should have gone back, gotten a different coach because I got some traction. I should have just focused on just continuing building, but I got distracted by my other interests. I mean, doing TED, doing authors, writing books, I can take it on a different road. And I explored that for a bit to see where it would head. But the call of designers is too strong. I said, so I kind of stepped back from that slightly because I really, really love this world. And my wife is a sounding board. So she said, well, just do what you love. So this is where I am right now. And I guess to continue answering your question, I think probably should have focused on building a team sooner because I'm so lazy. My team's fully distributed.
Yes.
But maybe if I had really thought about, and you know what, I'm just doing this purely for fun, but now I have to think of legacy.
Right.
What do I leave behind? What do I leave the world? So now I have to think more of, okay, I think I want to create systems, structures. What I should have thought of doing 10 years ago, Eric, if I had someone like you.
Would have made your life easier.
Yeah, I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I mean, I have a structure and system about it, but it's not as probably not as well laid out as the way you run your company, right? I'm not as structured as that. I still run it like a solopreneur would, but
Yeah.
because to me, this is just fun. And I just happen to make money.
Well, and I think that's the kind of trap that a lot of designers fall into is they start their business because they love what they do, which is design.
Yeah.
But they never think about the kind of the exit until it's, a little bit.
I know.
Yeah. And that's normal.
I still caught myself.
Yeah. 90% of people do that.
No.
But now it's great that you're sharing this because for those that want a bit of insight is, set up your system, set up your structure. It could be with a coach like me or it could be on your own. But think about your exit. Think about where you're going to go.
Well, the benefit of having like someone like you is you have a sounding board. That's what you really pay for. Am I being an idiot by doing this? Am I being brilliant by trying this, or being stupid by not trying this? Well, what do you think? That's what you pay for with a coach, with a really good coach, someone with experience, and someone like you do exactly what I do.
Yeah,
and you be able to scale it to such a degree where you can teach someone who wants to either stay, let's stay 3 to 5 people. Some people might say I want to be 30. Some people might say I want to have 200 people. So you have to have different kind of set of goals to achieve whatever you want. Some people just want to be solo, like for the longest time. Since I'm fully distributed, I want to shut down my office for a month and go to Europe. I can do that.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I remember when I was building my business is there was no sounding board, like you said, right? There's no one that I can turn to and just kind of bounce an idea of. And actually, that's one thing that I did with this podcast. It's Designers Business Community, but I also turned it into a Facebook group so that design business owners, can come together and just have a sounding board, have a community that they can turn into. So,
excellent.
These are things I'm setting up from looking back.
You know what? I'm really happy you did this because one thing I discovered when I started, designers in particular were not very collaborative. Not like my wife's industry, IT. They literally had to give each other business because they knew they had 40 hours.
Yes.
So if they had 2 or 3 pieces of business, they had to give it to someone because, hey, there's no way on the planet they were going to do 2 gigs. No one wanted to anyway. So they were like, okay, you take this. And they knew at the back of their head because I know you're going to do the same for me. It was inherently collaborative out of necessity. But designers, for whatever reason, they're like, no, I'm not going to help you.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah. That's it.
Like, what?
Yeah. And even
so much scarcity.
Even if
There's
like,
so much scarcity in this industry. Yeah.
Even if you wanted to reach out, you would like the other person. You feel awkward because it's like, oh wait, aren't they my competitor? And the natural inclination is like, okay, I don't reach out to competitors, but why not? Like as long as you don't disclose sensitive information, you can bounce other business ideas around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it's almost like you have to be successful to be open-minded. But while you're trying to take off, it's like, oh, I got to keep this thing to myself.
Yes.
But you don't realize, like me, I've learned that my area of comfort is residential, maybe hospitality, a hotel, but like office, I don't really like it. Retail. So I have so much business to give in those areas that I'm really not interested in.
Yeah, there's a lot to go around.
But we don't seem to have that natural kind of collaborative mindset. Unless you've reached a certain level of success where if I don't like you, I won't even do business with you. I don't care if you live across the street.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I don't give a shit.
That's what I'm trying to change with this the community that we're building. So yes.
I'm glad.
It's a slow growth, like anything, but hopefully, the word would get out there and people know about it and kind of join.
But finally, here's someone who's not afraid to give back. Well, because everyone who knows Eric is in the big leagues. I'm just proud that he deigned to go down from heaven and talk to some little guy like me.
No. You're too kind. I think it's an age thing, though. I do think it's an age thing because when I first started, yes, there was a bit of that kind of sense of competition. Yeah. But now, as I kind of go into my sunset years, let's call it.
Oh, come on, man! In your 30s now? You're going into your 30s?
No. And actually, you know what's interesting? I had a conversation with Riza Pallard. Beyond Beige, right? Like multi-award winning. And same thing. She shared the same thing with me. It's like, why can't we collaborate? She wants to share her knowledge. So I think it is a bit of that age and experience thing.
I think so.
Yeah,
I agree.
you're comfortable under your skin. You want to help the next generation.
Plus, if you look like Eric, look at him. He's so hot. He's a hot.
Yeah, I didn't pay George, by the way.
Line up the door just to be near his orbit.
Thank you. You are too kind. Okay, before the listeners think that I got you on just to plug me, I want to plug you. So
it's okay. It's all good.
Tell us where we can find you. Promote your business a little bit. Tell us and anything else that you want. Like if you want to continue coaching people on writing books and stuff. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So if anyone wants to consider using myself and my team, so I'm at www at flowformdesign.com, flow with a W. Apparently, some upstart decided to copy my name, FLOFORM, and then put the word countertops. I'm like, my God, these copycats. So I get some calls occasionally. I need a countertop. I'm like, oh, that's not us. But they've been around. They're all over Canada. It's just that I was ahead of them here. So I just laugh. It's like, oh no, you mean the countertop people, don't you? So so we people just come to us for new kitchens, new bathrooms to furnish. They just bought a condo or a house that's empty. That's where we come in. We help them. We do the design and project management. They can also call me, www.georgeverdolaga.com, if they want advice on how to write their memoir or their how-to book on whatever it is their expertise is. Yeah, I take a limited amount of clients per year because that's very time-consuming, and I want to pour everything that I have behind each and every one of my clients. Because a book is, right? They say you have to do 3 things in life. Was it have a child, plant a tree, write a book? Something like that. I think that's what it was.
Right.
Most people do the first 2, like Eric. I don't know if he planted a tree, but write a book, that's huge. It's like giving birth to a baby almost. I know Eric here was thinking of writing a book. Have you finished it? So what happened?
I have not. I am writing a book,
okay.
And it's business for entrepreneurs. But
nice.
My personal story that you inspired me to think about, I'm actually turning that into a movie project.
Wow, look at you.
I've kind of skipped the book a little bit, went past that.
Well, I'm not surprised if you do it. I mean, great things have come out of Eric.
Yeah. Well, if you set your mind to it, that's the number one thing in life for me. Set your mind to it and it'll happen. Yes. And I learned a lot from you from the last few meetings we've had. So yes, it goes both ways.
I'm flattered. Hey, I'm flattered to be in your orbit as well. You know what they say, Hugo Boss had great minds think alike. So you guys are smart to be listening to this podcast. Eric here will change your life. I guarantee. And I mean that not facetiously, but someone like Eric who's been there, done it to a level most of us dream about. Eric, tell people how small is your tiny little company again? Is it just like 80? Is it 80 people?
No, it's smaller than that.
Are you smaller now?
Probably when I get scared. Yes, it's a lot to handle.
Yeah. For those of you who are listening international, 80 is massive in Vancouver because design firms here are less than 10 people. No, it's not New York. Design firms here, 3 to 5, you're medium sized. To get to Eric's level, it's like, wow. So he is the most credible person you can get on your side, on your corner.
Thank you so much
for inviting me. I really am flattered to be on the show.
No, it's great. It's always having good perspective, and that's why this podcast is not me. It's conversations with other designers because I feel everyone brings value to this world.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, thank you for being. I'm glad to be in the company. Thank
you, George. Flowform Design, an accomplished book and coach, actually. So yes, please look him up.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you enjoyed that video and the conversation with George. If you want to get a hold of George, his Flowform Design website is flowformdesign.com. And if you're interested in his other services, you can also look up georgeverdolaga.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button to support my channel. And also, please share this with your other networks in the interior design industry. I'm Eric Lee, and I'm coaching designers on the business of design.